Good morning, everybody. My name is Brian Chen. It is my pleasure to share the next 3 hours with you guys. And what I'll be sharing is I will be going through how I use zipForm for the functions that's listed on your flyer. For example, how do I set up templates to help with the efficiency of writing an offer? How do I set up checklist to make sure I don't miss important deadlines? And toolbars, and how do I use digital signatures? And also, I will be showing you where to use form tutors and forms advisors in case you come across with a form that you're unfamiliar with and you don't know how to fill it out. You can use forms tutor. The tutor will go through the form with you and explain what the form is used for so you can fill it out. And the forms advisor is a system where if you don't know what kind of forms you need to do certain transactions, the forms advisor will ask you a whole bunch of questions about your transaction and later on give you a list of forms that you will be needing for that transaction. But for most of you who work for a real estate brokerage, you should always ask your company or broker for a list of transaction required forms that the company require for your regular transactions, such as condo sales or a residential sales or a brand new construction or sales with builders, or whatever the type of transaction you're doing. Your company should have a list of required forms for their brokerage file, and you need to make sure you don't miss any of that form. Okay, without further ado, I think you guys can see my Safari startup page. So I will take you to where you sign in for zipForm. There's two ways to sign in. Okay, first, let's go to the Western Gable Valley Association of Realtors, Western Gable Valley Realtors website. That's www.wsgvr.com. They still have the old .com, which is wsgvar.com. Okay, now on the upper right hand corner, you have the MLS login or the zipForm login. So you can click here to go to zipForm if you want to use zipForm. But the reason why I'm showing you this website is you can get a lot of information and you can even pay your membership dues. You can do your association business on the association website. And there is also, you see, pay your dues. There's also forms that you may need to do business with the associations. That's right here. And you can also look at your education schedule from the education and commercial and all that. Okay, so do spend time to come to the Western Gable Valley Association of Realtors website. This is your home board, and this is your home board's website. You should be familiar with it. A lot of information can be found here. You can access zipForm by coming to here, click on the zipForm. If you want to go to the CRMLS, you can go to the MLS login, okay? That's one way. Now I want to show you another way. Go directly to CAR website, www.car.org. That's your California Association of Realtors website. You can go here and you can sign in, and like what I do, I'm gonna use my fingerprint to sign in, and then you can come here, access your secure transactions. You go here and then you have your secure transactions right here, And right here is the zipForm edition. It is now the lone wolf. So it's the part of the transactions and zipForm edition. Access zipForms. So you can access your zipForms here. What this is doing right now is to check and validate you as a current and valid agent. Okay, because remember, you have to be a member of an association to be able to access the free zip form. Okay, so you there, that's what it was doing. It was checking your membership, making sure you're still valid. Then you can click on continue. When you click on continue, you'll see, and what it's doing, the circling around, what the circling around is doing is it is synchronizing with your desktop software. There is a desktop version of the zip form. I haven't been using it for years and years because I've been using the online product. But there is a desktop version where you can download the desktop, and if you don't have internet connection, you can still prepare an offer based on the desktop software, and you can still print it out with a local printer, print everything out. But when you log into the online version, the circling around is synchronizing your online account with whatever the new stuff you have done with your desktop. Vice versa, it's also updating what you have done on your online account with your desktop account. Okay, so that's what that circling around is doing. For those of you who have recently changed your office, who has recently changed your office, if you never updated your office information on your zip form, your zip form on the bottom of the form where it says what office you're from still have your old office information. So you need to make sure, if you change an office or you just joined the association, if you just joined the association, the information will be correct for you because they input that initially. But then after that, it's up to you, the agents, to update your office information. And anytime you change your email or your cell phone, you need to update it here. You go to either your photo or me. Okay, it's the same. You see, or I click on my picture. Okay, okay, it's the same. Okay, then what you do is you go to your profiles and settings. For today, I will pretend that I work for a West San Gabriel real estate. So I'm going to come and pretend that I just changed my company to this company, new company. So I'm going to come here. About me is my information. If I change my email address, this is where I change it. If I change my cell phone, this is where I change it. Okay. My real estate license is there. And right here, offices, you see where I have my pointer at, offices. This is where, if you change your office, this is where you go change it. For example, I'm going to pretend that I'm changing to West San Gabriel Valley real estate group. Okay, so I'm going to say I work for West San Gabriel Valley Real Estate Group. That's my new company name. And the address, I'm going to change it to, I'm going to change it to 123, okay, Main Street, okay, and the city is San Gabriel. I better change it to No Man's Street, okay, San Gabriel and 91776, I believe, okay, and I did not change anything else. So that will be my new company. So for today, everything I do today at the bottom of the form will show this company name. So why does the zip form design it this way? It's because there is a time disparity between your real business time and the association time. Why is that? We realtors always work at night because that's when our buyers come home. So, and we work on weekends. But the association don't work at night and they don't work on weekends. So, if we change our company this afternoon and I'm going to write up an offer tonight, I don't want my old company's information to still show up on the new form that I'm going to write. That's why they designed it so you can change your company information immediately, real time. Whenever you change something, the next moment you do something, your new information will show up. This is why zipForm is designed this way. You have to know that because many times people change offices on the weekend and the association office don't open until Monday. And if Monday is a legal holiday, like President's Day last month, then the association don't open until Tuesday. You know, but you need to change your office information right away so that whenever you write up the offer, the new office gets the credit, and you will be working on the new transaction with the new company's name. Okay, so you may change your office immediately, but your association may change your office a few days later. There's always a time disparity. That's why zipForm is designed for you to work in real time, so you can change it here. Okay, so now I've changed it. I click on save. It's going to save. Office information updated. You want to wait until this thing says that, then you can close. Now, I know many of you who doesn't use templates, and if you want to write up an offer, you simply go to here, and then you go to a new purchase, and then you enter your information, and you start the transaction. Then what do? You type the entire offer from page 1 to whatever page we usually finish at page 4, I think. Okay, you go from page 1 to page 4 to type in all your information all over again, each and every time. That is not efficient, is it? Because there are information that we type in that's repetitive, such as your name, your company name, your license number, your company license number, and also your transaction have who pays for what. Most of you, when you write offers, you have the set way of writing the offer. Who pays for what is always the same, pretty much the same, right? You will have the seller pay for termite report and termite completion. You have the buyer pays for the physical inspection. You have the seller pay for the natural hazard disclosure. So all of this are always the same. So it's called repetitive typing. And then what else? Escrow fees is paid, buyer and seller. You check the box for both buyer and seller, and then you write in there buyer and seller each to pay their respective escrow fees. You don't write in 50-50. It is not correct to write in 50-50. It's correct to write in buyers and seller to pay their respective escrow fee, or simply to pay buyer and seller to pay their own escrow fees. Okay, you can write all that in. But if you do that, every time you're typing over and over and over and over again, all these information are all the same. zipForm has a way to help you be more efficient. So they have an area. This is where the forms area, right? And go back. And then they have, go back. They have the transaction area where you have all your transactions. They have a template area where you can create a template. What is a template? A template is kind of like a sample of everything that you do. Everything you typed in there stays the same, never change until you change it. So what you can do is you can create different templates. For example, you see right here, I have, oops, all these demos. This is from February's class. I also teach class for my office. So let me delete this. Okay, now. Oh, this one is not, I did not delete it. Okay. I have created a 45-day residential purchase, 60-day residential purchase, and a residential purchase 30 days templates. This is for me. So if I'm going to use templates, let me show you what the inside of the template looks like. This is everything I need for a residential sales forms, okay? And then I have pre-typed in here, this is the RPA. I already pre-typed in here buyers, you know, my company name and everything, and you know, the repetitive information, okay? The buyer's name and seller's name always leave blank in your templates, but my company license number, my personal license number, and my name and everything is all in here. This is my template, Brian Chen's template, okay? And all the things that I told you about. For example, this is a 30 days. So I already typed in 30 days and my company information and who pays for what. I can say seller. I can type in here, seller pays, okay? And then I can have the seller pays for termite, right? Termite report and completion certificate for all section 1 work. And I can write in here seller's choice. Okay, and I can write in here, sorry, not seller, buyer pays for what? Physical inspection. Okay, and I can also say seller to pay for the smoke detector. Okay, and seller pay for minimum government inspections. This is important because on some cities you may have seller have to do a point of sale inspection, okay? And then down here, you can say buyer and seller both to pay their own respective escrow fees, okay? And you can write in here your favorite escrow office, title company rep name, okay? But chances are the seller's gonna counter back. You can say seller pays for county tax, okay? And this is the residential, so there's no checkbox for, there's nothing to be checked for the HOA stuff, right? And then normally what else do we do? I always include stove right here, okay? That's pretty much it for as far as the template is concerned. This is what I usually put in a template, okay? Now, the rest, anything that you typed in here is preserved, it is saved. But let me tell you, the templates saves the data. The forms will be updated. So if you use templates, you don't have to worry about CAR updating their forms because whatever the new forms they have, it will be here, okay, for you to use. So let me go through how you can create a template because you need to learn how to create a template. So you're in templates and then you want to create a new template, brand new template just for yourself. So you go to plus new and this is a purchase. I already showed you the purchase. Let's do a listing. How is that? Let's do a listing. So if you want to write up a listing, you can have all this listing done. So residential or single family listing, right? So this is the listings template. Okay, you click save. You don't select templates. You can actually select other templates to save you time. I'll demonstrate that to you later too. So save. You are now in a new template. Now you want to select documents. Go to all forms. When you want to do a residential listing, you want this, right? And you might want to do RCSD. Just in case your seller is a trust or your seller is an LLC, you need the RCSD. What other forms do you need on the residential? You need a RLA-CVA, right? Isn't that the RLA-CVA? How come it's not showing up? It's the residential listing coronavirus. Okay, right here. Listing agreement, coronavirus addendum. This is what you need to always have during the coronavirus pandemic situation. We're still under coronavirus. So when you do a residential listing, you gotta have this form in there. This is a required form, okay? At least for my firm, it is required, okay? This is the listing agreement coronavirus addendum, RLA, oh, CAA, not CVA, RLA-CAA, okay? This is a coronavirus addendum for sellers. When they sign a listing agreement with you, they need to have this. You just have to remember this, okay? If your office don't requires, then you don't need to worry about it. But by law, you're supposed to. So I'm not sure if your broker is require you to have it. But in my office, if you sign the residential listing, you must have this form with it, okay? So pretty much residential listing is about this. So you go to the residential listing and you start typing in the information that you always type in, so you don't have to repeat it again. So seller always need to sign. And who is the agent? This is the company. So what did I say? West San Gabriel Real Estate Group. Okay, that's my new company name, right? And license. Okay, and my license and my name. I always type in my full legal name, because my full legal name is the name that appears on my real estate license. I always comply with the DRE law. I type in my full legal name. I know many of my agents who legal name is, for example, Huaiming Chen, okay? And then they have an English name, Larry, and they may type in Larry Chen. That is not in compliance with DRE law. If your name is Huaiming Chen, you need to type in Huaiming Chen. And if you have an English nickname, you can include that nickname with a parenthesis. For example, if my legal name is just Huaiming Chen, I can call myself Brian Huaiming Chen, okay? Or, or Huaiming Chen by itself. I cannot just call myself Brian Chen. It is not correct, okay? So you're supposed to type in the name that appears on your DRE license. And that's the name you should be using here, okay? Then on the listing, whatever I normally type in on the listing, whatever information I normally type in on a listing, okay, I don't type in here. For example, the beginning date, the property information, the seller information, none of that. Okay, but in here, within how many calendar days? I usually type in 60 days. I have a protection period of 60 days. And then um, the MLS. I am a subscriber to the MLS. Okay. So, also, how do I share? I will share with whatever. I usually leave blank. Okay. Because I'll be discussing. But if you normally charge, okay, 5%, okay, and then you will share with the others. However you want to share is up to you. You can talk to the seller about it. Okay, I'm going to be sharing 50-50 or whatever. But also over here, I belongs to what MLS? California Regional. That's what CRMLS stands for, California Regional Multiple Listing Service. So I type in the MLS that I'm a member of. Okay, so these are the information that appears on every residential listing agreement. I just type it in there. Okay, anything about the property I don't type in, because that will change with every single property. Okay, then that's basically my lease residential listing. Okay, so this is my residential listing. Okay, and then I'm done with that. I can also create, now see the residential listing I just created. Okay, single family listing. Now I want to create a new template for you, another 30-day residential purchase. So I go to template, create new, and now I want to use purchase. For you who are more familiar with home purchase, I can say a demo 30-day. Okay, a demo 30-day. And then I go to save. And this is a blank canvas, whatever forms you want to add in here. So on the residential, on a residential purchase, you always have the purchase agreement, right? And then what do you have? You may have addendum. You may use an addendum. What else forms do you use? Buyer counteroffer, right? BCO. You always use a buyer counteroffer. What else? What other forms do you use? Contingency removal. Don't you use that? So CR removal 1 and removal 2, because we have a 17-day and a 21-day, right? And what else? I may want to always have a cooperating broker compensation to confirm my compensation with a listing agent. So that, okay? What else? Have a VP, verification of property condition, right? So after removal contingency is your final walkthrough. Okay, you may need a time extension of time. Okay, extension of time, just in case you need a few more days to remove contingency. You have that form. What other forms do you normally use? That's pretty much it. Addendum, okay, for some kind of changes, purchase agreement, right? So that's right in the information I usually write in a purchase agreement. That's pretty much the same for all of my transactions. So this is a 30 days. So I write in a 30 days, and the seller's firm, that's a listing firm. They represent the seller. I represent the buyer. So I would type in my company name, right? Okay, real estate group, my company license. Okay, and agent, buyer's agent, Brian Huaiming Chen. Okay, okay. Initial deposit always blank, and first loan I always protect my buyer by saying 1%. I don't write in the interest rate because interest rate change. Okay, and I always attach the buyer's verification of funds. That's just the way I do business. I don't waste time. Okay. And seller to pay for, um, sellers pay for termite, and buyer pay for physical inspection, and seller pay for smoke alarm, seller pay for any required, and then as buyer as and seller pays. Okay, whatever you typed in before, it will be here. You can actually click on that to save even more time on typing. And seller pay for county property tax, and seller pay for city, if any. This is in here just to catch all, in case there is a city like Los Angeles or Culver City or something like that. And air condition, and seller pays for not to exceed $600, issued by buyer's choice. And items to be included, stoves. Okay. What else? That's it. That's pretty much it. Okay, that's my template. That's how you create a template. Because this is an offer, I will be disclosing this to the buyer. So I type in the buyer. So later on, I don't have to type it in. Whatever you did not type is blank. And then on your new transaction, when you pull the template over, it will be blank. So this is how I create a template for 30 days. I save it. This is my demo, 30 days. This is my demo. Did I have a demo? Okay, my demo 30 days saved right here. This is how I created a template for 30 days sell. Now, I want to create one for 45 days, right? I do this, and then I type in demo 45 days. For you, you don't have to type in demo because this is just for demo. I will delete them, okay? But 45 day, okay, residential. You see right here? Now, this is where this feature is very powerful. I already created my demo, my template for another transaction. All the information I type in, I don't want to retype again. It's stupid to retype all over again. So over here, I want to tie in what kind of templates. I want to use the same demo as the 30 days, okay, in my 45 days. That way I go save, watch. Everything is already there. Everything I selected before is already there. Save me tons of time. Then I go in there. I need to change only one thing. What thing is that, you may ask? 30 days to 45 days. Okay. This is where a lot of agents make mistakes. They only change the days from 30 days to 45 days. But why do you need 45 days escrow? Chances are that's because your loan, you may be working on an FHA loan where it takes 30 days to finish the loan to get an official FHA approval, right? This is where most agents make mistakes. They change to 45 days and then they write the offer, they present the offer. They forget to change the loan contingency. The loan contingency is right here. It's normally 21 days. Why is it 21 days? It is designed for a 30-day escrow. So when you change to a 45-day escrow because you need longer for the loan, and you forget to check this, don't make the same mistake as most of my agents make mistakes, okay? You need to come here, you need to type in 30 days. Or if the lender tells you, I need 35 days, you write 35 days, okay? Think about it. 21 days out of 30 days, you have 9 days before scheduled close of escrow is your time to remove contingency. So if you have a 45-day escrow, is it unreasonable to ask for 35 days loan contingency period? I don't think so. that's what you need, then you type in 35 days. If your loan officer tells you, oh, I just need 30 days, then you type in 30 days, okay? Otherwise, give yourself a little cushion. And that way, you will not be faced with a situation. If you did not change this, let me tell you, your listing agent may give you a notice to perform on the 21 day and says you need to remove loan contingency and your loan is not done. And you tell him, I need 45 days to close because I need longer for the loan. But the listing agent says, you didn't ask for it. And my seller wants you to remove contingency now, loan contingency now. So don't forget to change that, okay? So if you have a longer day, it's probably because you need longer to do the loan. Then you don't forget to change your loan contingency period, okay? Everything else, notice everything else I pre-typed in is already here. I don't have to type in again. Doesn't that save me a lot of time? Say yes, it saves you a lot of time. Okay, now let me show you how to do a condo. I already used a 30-day, right? And that's for residential. If I want to do a new template for condominium, 30-day condominium, same thing, it's a new purchase, right? Condo sale, right? Okay, residential. Oh no, you do condominium right here, okay? And then your templates, still use what templates? You use your 30-day templates, okay? You don't want to use the 45 days because then you have 2 more space to change. You don't want to change anything. So use 30-day templates and you create. This is called creating a template with another template to save time, okay? Then the only thing you need to change right here for the condo is to go straight down to the condominium area. Oops. Straight down to the condominium area. This is a condominium, right? So HOA applies. Seller pays for the HOA fees, okay? And I always type in seller to pay for any private transfer fees, okay? Or if required, okay? Or whatever, if applicable, okay? If any, okay? You're done with your condo template because everything else is the same. Then you can go save, you're done. Now, basically, you created 3 types of templates. One is a 30-day sale, residential sale. One is a 45-day residential sale. One is a 30-day condo sale. You're done with your, you can function with your templates, okay, pretty much. So that's how you use templates. Later on, I will show you how you use checklists to help you with your transactions. Checklist. This is a new feature that zipForm added to help reminding you during your transaction, okay? During a transaction, your important dates, like the 3 days after acceptance, the you need to do what? You need to order inspection. You need to make sure the buyer's deposit is in escrow. And then 7 days after acceptance is a seller's disclosure due, right? And then you have to remind yourself to negotiate RR, usually on the 12th day after acceptance, right? And then what else? Contingency 1 is due on the 17th day. Contingency 2 is due on the 21st day, okay? And then after that is pretty much your verification of property, okay, VP, final walkthrough. And then after final walkthrough, you want to make sure your buyer remembers to order loan docs. And then the next thing is signing loan docs 2 days before close. And you sign the loan docs 2 days later, everything closes, right? That's your 30-day transaction. Smooth, simple, don't you believe it? Okay, it's never smooth and it's never simple, okay, because there's negotiation going on each and every step of the way, right? So anyway, so let me show you how you use your templates to help you write an offer. because there's an important feature in zipForm called MLS Connect that I want to show you how to write up an offer with minimum amount of typing, because Brian Chen have 10 left fingers. I always make mistake when I type. So I don't want you to make mistakes. Keep the mistakes minimum, okay? That means type as little as possible. So we need to now go to a transaction. Brian is gonna write up a brand new offer today. I'm so excited. So I go to a transaction, correct? And I want to create a brand new transaction today because my buyer is sitting next to me. I don't want my buyer to wait unnecessarily. I want to show buyer how familiar I am with writing offers. I'm a pro at writing offers. And the longer it takes for you to write an offer, the less your buyer believes you're a professional, because the less confidence he or she will have. So you want to go through an offer as quickly as possible. That's why you need to use templates. Okay, now, hopefully, when you write up an offer, by the time you write up an offer, you already have a listing, right? You already show the buyer the listing. And whenever you want to write up an offer, you also want to get the realist property report. The realist tax report shows you the names of the seller, the owner. The owner's legal name is right here because you always need that to write up an offer. So now you got the information you need. You come here. I want to write up a brand new offer on this property. So I'm going to say, and this is my property address. Okay. My property. This is a residential sale. This is a beautiful home listed at 2 million something. This is listed at 2.7 million or something like that. Okay. No, 2.38 listing. You see this MLS Connect? Very good, very important. You want to use MLS Connect. Why? All the property address, listing agent information, all the information about the property will be in the MLS Connect. You can import them over without typing. So you just type MLS Connect, okay? And then you type in the listing information, which is AR 210-52137. That's my listing number. And then I say find. I want to find it. I want to make sure it is the same property. The picture of the property. It is the same property, okay? And listing price, 2.388, okay? Yes, that's my listing that I want to make an offer on. So I will say use listing. So now you see your listing is here, okay? Then I want to select my templates. Don't forget to select your templates. Select your templates, use a demo 30 day, okay? Demo 30 day, because that's the one I just created today, okay? Then I go here, I say save. This is my brand new transaction. And then I talk to my buyer. Offer day, let's say I made the offer last Friday. Pretend last Friday because I'm going to use acceptance date today. So I write up the offer and I write up the offer for right now. You see on the listing, it's already had the listing information in here, okay? Now, I'm gonna go and write up the offer. So I go to documents. Documents right here, I click on residential purchase. Watch this. Listing address, all the listing information. Look at this. Listing agents information. It's all here. His company license number, listing agent license number is all here. You see that? That's the powerful way of writing an offer. Most of the item is already pre-made for you. So you just have to type in today's day. And today's day I said was last Friday, right? And buyer, uh, buyer, buyer, demo buyer. I'm stupid. That's my demo buyer. Okay, that's Mr. Demo Buyer. Gonna make an offer. And the list price is 2.38. He's gonna make an offer on 2.3. Okay, 2,300,000. 2,300,000. What is 3% of that? 69,000. Okay, so $69,000 is my initial deposit. I don't do anything else. And over here, I will say a first mortgage loan and loan not to exceed, say, 4.5%. Okay, first loan. And how much is his loan? He is going to put down, he's going to put down 40%. So he is going to get a loan for 1,380,000 because he's putting down 40%, right? 2.3. So he's getting a loan for 1,380,000. So what does that mean? He's going to put down $69,000 initial deposit. At the end, he's going to bring in another 851,000. Okay. Verification of funds. I need to show enough verification of funds for how much? For 1.70, $1,500,000 or something like that. Okay. I need to show enough funds for all the down payments. Okay. Everything else is already typed in, guys. Everything else is already typed in. Nothing else changes. Okay. Nothing else changes. You know what? I just finished writing an offer using templates. So what do I need to write in? Oh, one thing. Remember the seller's name? This is a common mistake. Even with my agents, it's common mistake. They leave this blank. You know, for an offer, you need someone to make an offer to whom the offer is made to. This is why I pull a property profile at the beginning, because I need to know the seller's names. Okay, so this seller's name for real is Mr. Lau. Okay, that's the last name, Quan T Lau. And co-seller, his wife's name is Lina, Laina S Lau. Okay, these are the seller's name I pulled from the property profile. I don't need the listing agent to tell me. I can look it up, the information myself. Okay, this is something that you need to do for you to write an offer. You need to know who are the sellers. Okay, and that's it, pretty much it. You see, my new company name is all here. Notice I changed my company name at where? At the profile. And did you notice on my template, I have my old company information in there, but I didn't have to change anything because that was a template. When I pull the template into a transaction, it uses all the current information. You see that? So I don't have to keep on going back to the template and change my company information. Notice that in my old template, I have my old company information, but now I'm using, when I pulled over, is right here. I don't know why it did not pull the company address. Okay, zipForm still has a little glitch here and there, but anyway, for the most part, my offer is done. So think about it. When I use a template to write an offer, it takes me less than 2 minutes to write up an offer. with my buyer next to me. Now, compared to someone who doesn't know how to use templates, he's typing every page, all the information repetitively, okay? All the information entered in manually, okay? Looking up the information and everything, where I just pull the template in, type in the MLS number, and then pull the MLS number, plug in the templates, and then create the transaction and type in the buyer's name and the seller's name and the amount of purchase, how much he wants to pay for it, how much he has for down payment, and the 3% initial deposit. I'm all done. Everything else is done for me. Okay, that's the power of template. It can help you save time. Now, template is done. I want to show you checklist next. You know what is a checklist? During a transaction, you have important dates that you don't want to miss. So you want to create a checklist so that your transaction will send you, the system will actually send you emails the night before. The emails to remind you of certain tasks that is done. So remember earlier I said I want to use the acceptance day as today. That's for a reason. Okay, let's go back. Okay, and let me see. Back to my summary page. Over here, I have an offer date of March 12th. That's pretend we presented on Friday noon and the seller accept Friday, the same day. So seller acceptance day. Let's say seller accepted today. Okay, so acceptance day is today. So all the clock starts today. Not the time that you open escrow, is the time that seller signed the acceptance and is communicated. That's the acceptance date, okay? So acceptance day is today. So all the start date starts from today. This is a 30-day. So what does that mean? 30-day, March is 31 days. So escrow will close April 14th because that's 30 days from March 15th. April 14th, okay? And for right now, I don't know anything else for right now. So let's go ahead and set this up with a checklist. I want to show you how you do checklist. You go to templates. You can create a checklist. If you don't have a checklist as a template, if you don't have a checklist as template, you can still go to your transaction and create a checklist for that transaction. But that means the same days is going to be repeated again and again in each transaction. So I create a template, okay? I already created a 30-day checklist in my templates. I already have a 30-day sales checklist. That's for me. That's a very complete checklist that everything I do is there. I want to show you how to create a 30-day sales checklist. So you go to templates, you go to new, and it's a purchase, right? So it's a purchase. And you name your template demo 30-day checklist sales checklist residential. Okay, then you can say save. You go to save. Now it takes you to the blank sheet. This is a blank canvas. Remember earlier we did documents. That's because we're here. You can go to all forms for documents. Now you want to create a checklist. Checklist, you check this box. You notice how the page changed? Now you have to have a mental picture of the flow of your 30-day transaction. How you want to do 30-day transaction, right? So your first thing is, the first task is 3 days, within 3 days after acceptance. Remember, acceptance day is the starting clock, not the open escrow day. So acceptance day, right? So you create a task name called initial deposit and order inspection. This is yourself reminding you what need to be done, right? So this is the first thing. It's always a relative date, not a fixed date. Okay, because if you create a template with a fixed date, that template is useless because the date will expire. You always use relative date. Relative to what? How many days after acceptance, okay? After offer acceptance day. Because when you do a sales, you already have an offer acceptance day and all your clock starts from that day. So this is 3 days. You don't have to be 3 days. You may say 2 days, just so that you're staying one step ahead. 2 days after offer acceptance day, it is required. Yes. Remember here, required is yes. Okay. Responsible party. You want yourself to be notified. If you want to notify your buyers, then you click your buyers. But you want to be notified so you can contact your buyers. You want to show buyer how hard you're working during the transaction. So you keep on staying in communication with your buyer. So I always do selling agent, responsible selling agent, notify. Yes, I want the system to notify me. If I don't do this, you see the system will not give me any reminder. Then what is the point of making a checklist? So you want the system to remind you, yes. So after you finish this and you say save, you see that? Initial deposit and order inspection. Yes, you will be reminded. And that's the first task, correct? What is the second task? Probably 5 days. Okay, create another checklist. I call it physical inspection. And for me, I need to do an AVID, right? AVID. Okay. Selling agent, SA. Selling agent AVID. That's for me to do, correct? So how many days? Relative. Probably we do that on the 5th day because I want to get the physical inspection done ASAP. So it's offer and it's after acceptance. Okay. So responsible party, selling agent, notify me. Yes, save this task. Second task, it reminds me of doing the physical inspection. Third task, sellers disclosure due. Seller's disclosure due. Due when? If you read your purchase agreement, seller's disclosures are due on the 7th day after acceptance. So that's the due date. Okay. This is to remind me, hey, where's the seller disclosure? If I don't receive it, I will call the listing agent and say, send me all the seller disclosure. It is due. Okay. You don't want the seller to delay. I know I have heard from my agent that the seller, my 17-day contingency period is coming up in 2 days. I haven't received the seller disclosure. Whose fault is that? It is you, the seller, the buyer's agent, selling agent's fault. Why? You haven't bugged the listing agent for it. So you need to remind yourself to start bugging it. bugging them for it. So that's the seller disclosure due date, 7 days. Seller's supposed to give you all the seller's disclosures within 7 days after acceptance. Okay, so what is the next task? You want to remind yourself to contact the buyer, say, I need to sit down with you and let's talk about physical inspection report. Let's talk about what you want to request for repair, right? So I write in here, negotiate for RR, relative, okay? Your 17 days contingency removal period. So your request for RR need to be negotiated a few days before that, correct? A few days. You need to give yourself time to negotiate. So usually it's probably 14th day or 13th day. It depends on you, how you want to work it. This is your checklist. This is the way you work. Brian, I do it on the 12th day. Start doing it. Okay, why? I may sit down with my buyer and then I will suggest some kind of repair. Let the buyer read through the physical inspection report. Let it sink in a little bit. Give the buyer 1 day to think about it before he agree or disagree. That's the way Brian works. That's not the way you work. That's fine. If you want to be right on top on the 16th day and pressure your buyer to do a RR, that's up to you. Usually, the more you pressure your buyer, the more pressure you put on yourself. That's just my experience. So anyway, 12 days after acceptance, assigned to who? I am the responsible party, notify, required. Okay? Oh, save. Let me check something. I was talking. I keep on forgetting to check this. Okay, good. So now, after negotiation of RR, what's the next thing? Next thing is removal, CR1. 17-day contingency. Removal, okay? Relative is 17th day. After listing what? Acceptance day. But you know what? I always work with my buyer probably the day before, so it's 16th day. For me, as a reminder, why 17th day is the due day. I need to work with my buyer by then. This is a required task and assigned to who? Selling agent. Okay. No, notify me. Yes. Okay. Safe. So 17th day. What is next? Next is I always verify everything with a loan officer. So verify loan status with lender. Okay? You need to do that before you remove 21-day loan contingency. So when do you do that? Relative. I do that starting the 19th day. Okay, I need to find out from them. Why? Because have you ever called somebody and then it takes them a day to return your call? You cannot find them on the day you call. So you want to call ahead of times. That's just Brian, the way I work, okay? So after acceptance day. Notice something that's always repeating. Everything, all the relative dates are after acceptance day, counting from the acceptance day. So notify who? Selling agent, me, moi, Brian, to do what? Verify loan status with lender. Okay? Then I save yes. Then on the 21st day, the next item is 21 day, right? CR2. Okay? Remove all contingency. Okay? Relative, required. That is 21 days after acceptance. Assigned to who? I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to send it out to the buyer for them to sign and then forward it to the listing agent. So yes, that's to remind me. After 21 days, after that, what else do you need to remind your client? You have to think about what you have to help your client to do, right? You want to create a new one and says VP or final walkthrough. VP, okay, VP and order loan docs, okay? VP and order loan docs, okay? Do not forget that. So relative day, this is the only before days, okay? When is VP supposed to do? Usually at least 5 days before what? Closing date. So you need to know your closing date. Remember earlier, I immediately calculated my acceptance day is March 15th. My close day is what? April 14th. So it's 5 days before closing date. You do your final walkthrough. And at the same time, you need to make sure your buyer already ordered loan docs. So you got to talk to them about that. Assign to who? Brian, okay? And notify, yes, notify me. Yes, please. Pretty much done, right? The last task, hopefully the last task, COE and keys, relative, okay? Relative, I want to do closing dates, but I cannot do before closing dates. So I can do fixed April 14th if I want, okay? Because I know, but I don't want to do it because this is a template. So it's relative. Let's do 4 days. 5 days after. No, let's do 0 days before closing day. Okay, and then this is the required thing. So I'm doing 0 day before closing day. That means on the closing day. Okay, and then assign to selling agent and notify. Yes. Okay, so that means on the closing date. 0 days before means on the closing date. I want to do this. Okay, save. This is pretty much all the things I will be doing in a transaction. Pretty much. Okay, there are other things that may be going on, but these are important dates I want to be reminded of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tasks. 9 tasks that I want to be reminded of. So that is my template. Okay, that is my template. Zoom thing is keep on blocking my view, so I need to move it. Sorry about that. That's my checklist. Okay. You can also do it on a calendar basis. Okay, so it looks like your calendar has dates. Okay, but I do a checklist. I do a checklist so I can see it. Okay, so I can see it. Each task is done. Is there. There's a check mark. Okay. So back to list. Go back to templates. Okay. You see, now my checklist shows up here. How do you apply the checklist to your transaction? Go to your transaction. You remember today we had created this transaction, right? And you notice now you have the listing number, the property address is all here is because you inserted all that information, correct? Okay. And then where is your acceptance date? Right here, offer acceptance date. Okay. My offer expiration date was the same date, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And you can even put in the transaction information. What did we say he's gonna take out a loan for? 1.38, isn't it? 1,380,000. That's your loan amount. Okay. And deposit. There's no and possession day. Possession day, it was the same day as the close of escrow day. So possession day is April 14th. Okay. And whatever. You can enter in the commission number if you want. You don't have to. It is not absolutely required. Okay. And okay. How do you want to apply templates? You want to add that template. You see right here. Right here, do you see that? Apply templates. You in a transaction, you can apply templates. So I want to apply which template? I want to apply the 30-day sales checklist. Remember the one I just created, okay? And I want to say apply. Don't forget this. If you don't apply the templates into your transaction, it's not added in. So now I have set up my transaction to have the template, the checklist template to email me on reminders, okay? So this is how you do a checklist. Your zipForm, there is a transaction tools that you can use, okay? Right here. Class managers, lookup fields, mortgage calculators, forms advisor. Remember, if you have a forms you don't know how to use forms tutor, okay? When you click on forms advisor or forms tutor, the system will take you back out to the CAR website, So remember, when you click on Forms Tutor, you actually go back to the CAR website and you look up the forms that you need help with and you do a Forms Tutor, okay? So this is all available on your transaction tools. Forms Tutor, Forms Advisor. Mortgage calculators, I love this function. I always do mortgage calculators, okay? For example, loan amount, 1,380,000. 1,380,000, okay? Interest rate, 4.375. Interest rate. Long terms, 360 days. I mean, 360 months, okay? So what is my monthly payment? My monthly payment is $6,890. That's my monthly payment. Homeowner insurance, you know how you estimate homeowner insurance? Is 1,380.35%. 0.35% is what most people use to estimate. Okay, insurance, 4,800, 4,830. 4,830 a year, your monthly is about that. Property tax, your purchase price, 1,380,000, okay, times 1.25% is 17,250 a year. Okay, that's your monthly. Why is this important? Because the monthly insurance and tax, remember we use the term PITI. PI is principal and interest. That's your loan payment. TI is tax and insurance. So whenever we talk about PITI, we're not talking about the loan payment. We're talking about the PITI, loan payment plus property tax and insurance every month. That's your PITI. So your mortgage payment, PI, is 6890.14. Your PITI is 8730.14. This is the monthly PITI. You calculate. And then your first payment, say that April is the day that I close. When is the first payment due? Not in May, it's in June 1st, okay? Your mortgage payment is always due the first of the month after 30 days from closing. So if you close from April 14th, okay, 30 days from April 14th is May 14th. May 14th, the next first of the month is June 1st. You understand? Because the mortgage loan is always after a 30-day period, the next first of the month. That's the due date. You just have to memorize it. That's the way it is. So it's the first of a month after 30 days after closing. So your first amortization, your first loan is due on June 1st. Watch this. Display table. It gives you a 30 years table. This is only a reference, okay? It gives you a 30-year table of how much the mortgage loan is going to look like, okay? And you can actually print this out. You can print it out and give it to your client as a reference guide, okay? As a reference guide. Just remember that. I also use this calculator whenever I want to estimate a seller's net proceed. And all I need information is, Mr. Seller, when did you close? Oh, okay, April 1st. April 1st, you closed April 1st of what year? 2015. I can go back and calculate from 2015, okay, June 1st, because April 1st, May 1st doesn't count, so June 1st. From June 1st to today, how much he owes on the principal. That's how I do seller's net proceeds. Mortgage calculator is very important tool for you to use, okay? Always try to use that. It's a pretty good estimator, okay? So pretend with me, mortgage calculator. If this was a loan, that my buyer did 12 years ago, I mean, say 10 years ago. So its first payment was June 2011, right? 2011. First payment was due 2011. And this was the interest rate, say everything was the same, right? Display table. So this is the seller now. Calculate and display table. Okay. This was a situation, and if I want to find out what he owes today, March 2021, right? He now owes $1,109,365. That's the approximate. You see that? This is how much he owes today. Had he took out the loan 11 years ago, March 2021. That's how I do seller's net proceeds estimate, okay? Because then I use this amount as the amount of payoff plus 1 month's mortgage payment. You always want to add 1 month's mortgage payment as a cushion, because your loan payment is paying interest in arrears. So your March 1st payment is paying for interest from February 1st to February 28th. That's your March payment. So when you're closing in April, you need to add the whole month of March interest. So you always use the balance plus 1 month's payment. That's the way you do estimate. Okay, if you can't understand it, just memorize it. It's the estimated loan balance plus 1 month's payment. Just remember it, okay? So good. Toolbar we have done. Let me show you the documents. Hey, what's going on here? Why is this thing stuck in here? Are you guys still seeing my screen, right? Hello? Can somebody answer me?
Yes.
You guys seeing my screen stuck in here?
Yes, Brian.
Oh, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Am I talking to myself? Am I still on Zoom?
Yes, Brian, can you hear me? Sorry, my mic may be bad. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Somebody said yes. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Yes, you can hear, you can see. You saw my screen stuck. Now I need to go back. I don't know what's going on. Worst comes worst. Worst comes worst, I'll log out. I'll log out and then go back and log back in. Okay, I signed in and don't save. Firefox is my backup browser. Sometimes system glitch, you may have a problem and I don't want to clear my cache. I don't want to clear my history. I just want to open up my backup browser and get the system to work. But why is the system not coming on? So it could be the system was down. Fong, are you there, Fong?
Yes, can you hear me?
Fong, can you set previous RPA you prepared as a template without using? Very good question. And the answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is the wrong way to do templates. Okay, I know a lot of agents do that. That is not the right way to do templates. You know why? CAR updates the zip forms at least twice a year, once in April, once in December, okay? If you use your previous transactions, you may be using a form that's already old and obsolete. You're using your previous transaction. That's a form that's fixed in that time capsule. If you use templates, you noticed in my templates, I had the old company information typed in my templates. But when I pull the templates into a new transaction, my company information is updated. Same thing. If you use a template, if you use RPA in your template, when you pull the template into a new transaction, and it will use the most recent up-to-date forms. So you don't want to use your previous RPAs because the forms may be changed. Forms may change. So if you use previous transactions, you're using the old forms. And if you change your company information, the old forms still have your old company information. Okay. Will this video be safe for us to review? Yes, it will, but with the glitch on the zip form not accessible, you can only probably effectively look at the way I created templates, the way I created checklist, and the way I showed you the toolbar. I can't do digital signature e-signs. Oh, you know what I can do for you? Let's look at something. Let me go to, because Forms Tutor, there's another way to access Forms Tutor, not through zipForm, but straight through the CAR website. And let me see if I can find it. CAR, okay. Let me go to CAR homepage, because homepage, there's a search. I'll type in form right here. Yes, Forms Advisor, Forms Tutor. It takes me to Forms Tutor. Take me to Forms Advisor, Forms Tutor. Yes, I can show you Forms Tutor. This is good, because remember I told you that when you're in the zip form, I mean the WinForm, the zipForm system, it actually will take you back out to the website. That's the CAR website. Okay, so good. Let me show you Forms Tutor. Pretend that you don't know how to do something, okay, on a particular form. So this is accessing Forms Tutor. It actually takes you to this list. Welcome. And all these, you see 1, 2, 3, a menu of different forms, okay? And they're alphabetical order. So let's do a buyer inspection waiver. This is a much missed forms by buyer's agent. In my company, if a buyer agrees to waive physical inspection, I am requiring all of my agents to have this form filled out, because this form protects the agent. This is what the form looks like. The property address And if the buyer waives physical inspections, they're supposed to initial right here and sign at the bottom. And paragraph 4 is for additional investigation. You know how on your physical inspection, a lot of times it may come back and say foundation, cracks observed, recommend further evaluation by a foundation specialist. That's what a physical inspection will read. So if your buyer say, I'm not gonna get a foundation specialist, they're supposed to use paragraph 4, and you're supposed to check mark here and type in the company of the inspection, physical inspection company, and the date of the report, and let the buyer initial here. Why? Because they are waiver of additional investigation recommended by other reports. Very important. We had a lawsuit. We had a lawsuit for foundation problem. And our agent says, the buyer saw the inspection report. The buyer did not want to get a foundation specialist. And the buyer says, no, I don't read English. I don't read English, so I did not understand. And my agent didn't tell me. They sue us. So if the buyer had signed here, checked here, and initial and signed here, there's no way they can sue us. Okay? So remember this, buyer inspection waiver. But say you don't know anything about it. You see this radio button? You click on it, you can read what this form is used for. And if you don't want to read, you didn't have your eyeglasses, you can click here, play.
Buyer's inspection waiver. Because certain inspections are so vital to a buyer's ability to determine the condition of a property and the potential costs that may be incurred upon ownership, some brokers do not want any misunderstanding about the recommendation to obtain those inspections. If the buyer chooses to ignore the recommendation, the broker wants some documentation for the file to demonstrate that the buyer made the decision on his or her own and not at the insistence of the broker. The buyer's inspection waiver, CAR form BIW, can be used to document a buyer's decision not to have a home inspection or an inspection for wood-destroyed pests and organisms. Even if those inspections are made, sometimes the inspector discovers a condition that may require further investigation that is beyond the scope of that inspector's expertise. In such cases, prudent advice of a real estate broker is for the buyer to obtain the additional inspection. If the buyer chooses not to, that decision can be documented using paragraph 4 of the BIW. This form is intended for use between a buyer and a buyer's agent. It does not alter the legal or contractual relationship between a buyer and seller.
Okay, you understand? There's 2 paragraphs in here. Paragraph 3 is waiver for initial inspection. So if during the purchase agreement negotiation, okay, the buyer said, no, I don't need pest control. The home is built in 2019. It's still new. I look at it, home is beautiful. I don't need a pest control. Okay, and I don't need an inspection because it's almost a brand new house. So if they want to waive it during negotiation, this is where they initial and then they sign. But if they already done the inspection, like home inspection, and the home inspector says, well, the electrical panel looks improper, recommend further evaluation by a licensed electrician. And the homeowner says, well, I've been living here for 20 years. That's the way it is. And I have no electrical problems. And if your buyer say, okay, I don't need electrician. You come here and check this box, write in the physical inspection company and the date of the report, and have the buyer initial right here and have them sign at the bottom. That's paragraph 4, waiver of additional investigation. So this is how forms tutor works. Okay, you just heard one instruction. Let's say another forms that we may not know how to fill out. Let me see. RCSD. Okay, RCSD buyer. Because remember earlier I said you may use the RCSD. You may not have ever used the RCSD before. You want to listen to the explanation?
Many transactions are entered into not by a person in an individual capacity, but instead by an individual representing another or an entity. Common examples include an individual acting as trustee of a trust,
Right
an
here,
individual acting in the capacity as executor of a decedent's estate,
a
an
state,
individual acting under the power of attorney on
right here.
behalf of another, and an individual acting as an officer or managing member of a corporation
That's
or LLC.
entity right
Paragraph 19 of the RPA requires an individual acting in some capacity other than his own individual capacity to attach an RCSD to the RPA. The RCSD-S is for sellers. The RCSD-B is for buyers acting in a representative capacity. Further, the parties shall also provide evidence of authority to act in the representative capacity. The RCSD is not the authority to act. A power of attorney, order from a court, or authorizing document from the corporation would be the kind of document needed. The RCSD provides that if the individual acting in the representative capacity signs or initials any document in the transaction using his or her own name, even without the applicable title, the signature is deemed to be in the representative capacity. This clause and permission is important given that electronic signatures and initials often cannot accommodate lengthy titles and designations. The signing principal, seller's representative in the case of the RCSD-S, and buyer representative in case of RCSD-B only need to sign the form once. The other party to the disclosure would only sign when presented with the form. In the case of the RCSD-S, that would be the broker who would sign at the time of the listing agreement, and the buyer would sign at the time of the purchase agreement. In the case of the RCSD-B, that would be the broker who would sign at the time of the buyer representative agreement and the seller at the time of the purchase agreement.
So now you see how the forms tutor. So just remember, you don't know how to fill out a form, forms tutor can help you. Does CAR have forms tutor on every single form? No, they have the forms tutor on most of the forms, but not every single form. That's simply because the forms are developed so quickly. For example, you probably, let me see if you can find a forms tutor for coronavirus. Let me see, search. That was RLA-CAA. No, you see that coronavirus form is not in here. Because why? Because coronavirus was a temporary and is new, and they don't have that. So sorry. So but they have forms on a lot of other regular, like additional agent acknowledgement. Sometimes if you have one co-listing agent, another co-listing agent, you need to use additional agent acknowledgement. So those kind of things. And same thing, listing agreements, okay? Additional broker. If you have two firms representing the same seller, for example, if you have Remax Advanced Realty and Pinnacle Real Estate Group, two firms representing the same seller, that means each firm split 50-50. That's co-listing firms. So it's additional broker acknowledgement. Okay, if you have two agents within the same firm representing the seller, okay, the two agents use additional agent acknowledgement. Okay, so those kind of things. Let me look at some other chats. So now you know how to use forms tutor. Let me take the time to show you how forms advisor works. It is a lot more tedious, but it's good. It's good that you have an opportunity to look at it. Okay, so let's go to forms advisor. This is a questionnaire system. Okay, so forms advisor, you access forms advisor by clicking here. Transaction tools, forms advisor. Okay, forms advisor. You see this? It's a series of questions and answers. You have to create one. So let's just say untitled. Okay, I want to create one, but what is it that I'm going to make? I'm going to make an offer, or am I going to take a listing? I'm going to say, I'm going to make an offer. Okay, so this is a new questionnaire. So for me, you see all these? These are different, almost like you input a listing for different aspects. This is about me. Who am I? Who am I? I am an agent of a member of MLS. Yes. Are you a confirming or changing the compensation? Okay. No. Why? I don't want to change what's already offered in the MLS. But if you answer yes, it will put in a cooperating agent compensation agreement with you. So normally it's no, but if you want to change it, so for example, if the offer in the MLS is $1, obviously you want to change it, correct? Okay. Is there a co-listing? No. And do two licensing of the firm, two licensing of the same firm? No. Okay, good. Accept selected items. Now it takes me to the next question. It's about the property. Okay, and I'm sorry, it asks about me. Then I go to property. Is the property new construction? No. It asks you a whole bunch of questions about the property. Is the property greater than 300,000? Yes. Is the tenant going to stay after escrow? No. Okay. If you answer yes, a tenant in possession form will be there. Okay. But anyway, I don't want to jump ahead. Just say there's a tenant and the tenant is staying. Okay. And you answer yes and no. You go through each question. Okay. You go through each question. After that, go to my client. What about your client? Is my client specify how you want to be in contact with them? No, they don't specify. And is my client a corporation? I answer yes, because why? I want to show you, it will print out, it will require the RCSD, okay? And by the way, for a corporation, the authority to give the person to buy on behalf of the corporation is what we call a corporate resolution. A corporate resolution. The corporate resolution has to be created, stamped, and signed by the secretary of the corporation, and have the corporate seal affixed to it. That is a complete corporate resolution. That's just additional information. Maybe too much information, but it's okay. Accept items selected. About my client, accept items selected. Good. Seller, anything about the seller? I already answered yes or no. So accept the items created. And buyer specific. Is the buyer intend to occupy the premise? Remember earlier I said tenant is going to stay. So I'm going to say buyer is not going to intend to occupy, because the buyer is buying a rental property, okay? Is a buyer requested a pest control? Yes. Buyer septic tank. Okay, I want to show you this. if there's a septic tank, what kind of document they'll require. So I answer yes for you, okay? So accept the items. Transaction, about the transaction. This is the report. So you click here. Now, I click on summary. And then it will tell me all the forms. Hold on. Get recommended forms. These are the forms that you will be needing based on how you answer the previous questions. And the forms tutor advise you, this is all the forms you will need for your transaction. Okay, of course, it does not have any of the coronavirus required documents because those are required during the corona pandemic. This system was designed before the coronavirus pandemic. But these are all the forms that you may need to complete your transaction based on how you answer your question. Okay, so this is how forms advisor will work. Okay, so if you don't know for a particular transaction, if you don't know what forms you need, okay, yes, you're gonna be needing to use forms advisor to show you what forms you need for your transaction. This is CAR's recommendation. Okay, let me see. Is there any questions about what I just showed you? 3 buyers, how to prepare addendum for third signature. You use the additional signature advisory. Let me go to show you. Additional signature addendum. You see this right here? For the third person, this is what you use. Additional signature addendum, number 1. Okay, you filled out this information, and then if that person is a buyer, you click buyer, and whatever his name, okay, you say his name. Just say pretend that's Brian Chen. Okay, Brian Chen is the additional signer, right? And then you need to make sure Brian signs right here, and Brian initial these two. Remember that Brian has the initial these two. Why? I do agree. I agree to, okay, have disputes arbitration, and I agree to the liquidated damage, because remember on your offer you have arbitration and liquidated damage, so you must have them initial right here. Agree. If they do not agree, you have a problem. Why? The other 2 buyer agreed, and then the third buyer don't agree. Okay, so you got to make sure they initial both places and have them sign. Okay, so additional signature addendum. And then on your offer, you need to go back to your offer, to your original offer, right? Go back to your original offer, and on paragraph 5, right here, addenda, other, you can say additional signature addendum. Okay, you got to remember to do this. Then you attach the additional signature addendum with the offer. So that's how you make 3 people. That's how you do it correctly. Okay, let me go to the questionnaires. Forms tutor, forms advisor. Let's go through e-signature very quickly. Let me go through e-signature because I want to have people to sign the purchase agreement, right? I can also add additional documents. I can select documents to include. I can include another document from the outside. For example, if your company have additional documents that the buyer must sign, you can add them here, a PDF. So let me say right here, I will say add external documents. You can add other like other forms that's in your transaction, or you want to add external documents. This is where you add additional external documents. So I click here and I say, go to my browser, browse for document. Okay. And then I go to my downloads. That would be, so now I have 2 documents in here for me to do signatures. Okay. So I go to next. I have Brian Chen as the selling agent. I want me to sign first. So what's my email? And then the next, so that's me. You see that on the shaded area, you see 1, okay? Then you see my name, okay. Then I want to add signer. I want buyer to sign, right? So buyer 1, I'm sorry, I can only use my email, so. Close. So after I sign, my buyer signs, okay? Good. So now let's go to next. Okay, now this is where I verify everywhere people need to sign, okay? Make sure nothing is missed, okay? Buyer signs there, agent signs there. Yes, that's all correct. Okay, this is about the RPA. Since the RPA is a zip form, you don't have to worry too much, okay? You don't have to worry too much. This is, you're setting up for Brian Chen. Now you want to set up for buyer. Make sure the buyer's signature is all there. Okay. Over here, pretend this is buyer. Okay. This is the forms I was talking about. This is not a zip form, but we need to set this up. So pretend landlord, I use the form, just any kind of form, but you need to say, see this? This is a signature. So you want to drag and drop, oops. You want to sign right here. So you want the buyer to sign right here, demo buyer, okay? But I also want to sign as a real estate agent. So Brian Huaimin Chen, okay? And I want to sign right here. Brian Huaimin Chen, sign right here, okay? So this is the form that's not the zip form, because zip form, they automatically set up for you. You don't have to worry about it. But for your outside external form, you need to remember to drag this. Let's just pretend that the buyer also need to initial this. So I would say demo buyer, initial right here. So the buyer will initial there and the buyer will initial right here. Okay. And that's how the form, you can set up the form. Now you're ready to go to the next step because you already set up the proper signatory information. So you go to next. It says send invitations. Okay, you can even customize your invitation email, but you can just send the information to your people. So you send out the email. You should call your buyer and alert them. Later on, they will receive an email to request e-signature because the email doesn't show it come from you. It shows it come from somebody else. So you need to alert your buyer, okay? You guys are seeing my browser, correct?
Yes.
Are you guys seeing my browser changing to my email?
Yes. Can you hear me, Brian?
Now I'm waiting for the email to arrive. Waiting for the email to arrive. Please arrive. It does take a little time. It does take a little time. Sorry, it's still not arrived yet. But when it arrives, I can click on it and sign it for you. And while I'm waiting for the email, for the e-signature email to arrive, let me look at the chat and see Any other questions? Can I create a template to look at the property with my client of coronavirus form in place without creating the whole purchase agreement? Yes, of course. Let me go back. Are you guys seeing my zip form, right? Go back to the list. Let me go to my templates. I actually create a template called COVID-related forms. You can actually create documents with everything related to COVID, but this is not up to date because I know that in March, there's some new COVID forms updated. I haven't added in here yet, but at least you'll see in here, I have listing agreement, coronavirus addendum. That's the RLA-CAA, not CBA. And notice of unforeseen, COVID related forms I have created and dropped in here. So you can do that. Pauline is telling me the system is working now. Yes, thank you, Pauline. We are in the system. Let me see. The abbreviated code is at the bottom of each form. Actually, the abbreviation is at the bottom, but also at the top. You see that? Coronavirus addendum, the form is called CVA. Okay, so for the one that I was having problem with, it's called RLA-CAA, and it's in both upper and lower place, okay, at the bottom. Oh, right here, all right. Okay, I got the email for my signature. Remember, this is me as this agent. So I can authentic sign. You see, it says your signature is requested. That's why I want you to call your client. Okay, watch this. I click on start signing. Okay, this is my signature. I accept. Okay. Click, and it takes me to the next. Click, click, and click. I'm done. Okay. You can stay and review if you want to, but since I'm doing the demo, I don't want to read the forms. You don't want to read the forms with me. So I'm done. I am done. The system will now send a signal back to the e-signature saying, the first signer is done. Now prepare an email and send it to the second signer. Okay, the second signer being the buyer. So now I can go back, I can close this, and I can go back to my email. See that, Brian, 2, the second email. Your signature is requested. Okay, remember, now I'm not the Brian Chen, I'm the buyer. Remember, I enter my email address for my buyer because I don't have a real buyer. Please, you agents, do not enter your own email for your buyer's signature because then you're committing fraud. You're committing fraud if you use your own signature, your own email for buyer's signature, and then you're clicking for your buyer. Never, ever do that. You are committing real estate fraud. You may lose your license, okay? So anyway, but for demonstration, I'm pretending that this is my buyer's email. So watch. Now I click on, I want to sign, and it's preparing for the buyer to sign. Fortunately, I only have one buyer, right? So I didn't have to go through 2 email signatures. Because I'm buyer, you see, what's the name here? It is the name of the buyer, okay? So I accept, and then I can go start, and then go click, and it goes to the next, and goes to the next, and start initialing, accept. Remember, on arbitrations and liquidated damage, the buyer has to accept. So you got to remind your buyer. You click on it, you have to say accept. Okay? Remember initial, and buyer signature. I'm done. Now, after a few minutes, when the signature is done, when you go back to your zip form, go to transaction. I want to go back to my transaction. And I want to go to the documents. I want to look at. You see this right here? This is the signature folder. After you set up a signature session, and when it's completed, it will create a folder in your documents area. And if you click in it, it will have the forms people signed. So I had two forms that signed. So both signed documents are here. Okay. This is the area where you pick up the signed document. Okay. And then you can send it to, you can send it to the listing agent with people's signature on it. Okay, with people's signature, buyer, see demo buyer with people's signature. This is where the signed documents. So if today, March 15th, you have buyer sign something, that's one folder right here. If the 2 days later, March 17th, you have the buyer sign more signatures, there will be another folder for that day. See this 15th of March? 15th of March, you'll have a 17th of March folder. Okay, then you can go in there. So each time you do e-signatures, after the signature is complete, it sends back, it will create a new folder. So you will always have everything organized in a folder for you. Okay, so this is your zip form. So good, e-signature is done. There is nothing more you can do except practice. You can practice and practice and practice. Brian, with my question earlier about the template, I am referring to if I just draft the offer yesterday, can I use the drafted RPA and save as template? No. Templates, unfortunately, you don't want to use a drafted RPA to save as templates, because if you already draft an RPA, what else do you have in there? You have the buyer's information, you have the property information, you have the listing agent information. You're going to have to erase all that. It's simpler if you just create templates from brand new, blank RPA, and just type in the information that you normally type in repetitively without the property information, without the listing agent information, without anything else, just what you normally type. So create templates from new, from a blank sheet. Do not try to go in and try to do other ways, okay? Learn, how should I say it? You know how you learn how to ride bikes? By first, you climb onto the bike. You don't want to learn riding bikes by learning jumping onto the bikes, okay? Because you may fall, okay? So if you do the right steps, you will never miss a step. If you just follow the proper procedure, creating a template from blank, you will not accidentally have other information about another transaction in there. I have people, let me tell you, I have people send me documents because I'm a broker. I see a lot of complaints. I have people send me documents saying, your agent sent me this offer, and it has other information in there, and that does not belong. And they just want to call my attention to what my agent is doing. You know how embarrassing that is? Have to tell them, I'm sorry, I will have a talk with my agent. Then I have to pick up the phone and say, what happened? And he'll say, that was my old buyer's information. I said, you just use your old buyer information. Oh, it's similar, you know. I said, no, it's not, because that transaction was last year and we have new forms. Okay, so don't do that. Same thing, I will advise everybody. When you want to create a template, you want to create a template from fresh. Do not use your previous transactions and previously filled out RPAs and put it in as templates. It doesn't work. It will not work. Okay? Because when you go to your template area, watch. When you go to your templates area, it says create new. You don't want to pull, you can't import. It's not good. Do not use your other transactions. Are there any new questions?
I think a couple people have their hands up.
Is there a
Did you-
list of all abbreviation codes? No, it does not. It does not, unfortunately not. zipForm refers to the forms by its names. The forms by its names. I do want to remind you, you see this? This is a forms library. We're usually in this library. I also want to point your attention to this. You can change your libraries. Go to e-publishing library. You see 1 of 6, 2 of 6, 3 of 6, 4 of 6, 5 of 6, and 6 of 6. You should always remember to use something like this. Let me go back because I forgot where I was. Oh, okay, I can do it in my templates. Well, I can do it in my transactions. If I'm in a transaction, I want to add documents. That's not, I did not set up in my transaction, in my templates. I can go there, go to e-publishing. I go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, all these documents are in here. What are these? These are legally required documents to give to a buyer. Okay? These are legally required documents to give to a buyer or a tenant. Okay? A lot of agents don't give this to people, but they do give people this to sign. And I think that's a stupid thing. I'm sure you have people sign this and you did not give them all the other. Remember, this is 6 of 6. 6 of 6. What happened to 1 through 5? You're supposed to give it to them. And they're signing 6 of 6. You understand? They're saying, to whom it may concern, I received a copy of the environmental hazard and earthquake safety with gas shut-off valve. They're signing that to say, yes, I received it. But yet I see agents only print out this copy to have the buyer sign. Why? Because the broker says, you need to turn that in. They're forgetting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you're forgetting all that. And energy rating. Let me show you what energy rating is. Energy rating is another booklet where the receipt is not in there. The receipt is at the last page. So to have a complete file, you're supposed to also have the buyer and the seller sign this. But remember, who signs it first means who's supposed to give it to whom. So if a buyer signs it first, who's supposed to initiate this document is the buyer's agent. Buyer's agent give to this to buyers, have buyer sign, then give to the seller, have the seller sign. You understand? So I see a lot of mistakes agents do. And I try to convince them, don't forget all this. Most of you send this receipt. And most of you, I'm sure you guys have your buyers and your seller. buyer supposed to sign right here, seller supposed to sign right here. I'm sure you guys have them signed and put into your completed transaction. But let me ask you, did you fulfill your responsibility as agent by giving them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Chances are no, you're not. You did not. So don't forget, you can change your library and give them these information. Or you can go to your association and buy the booklet. But you know, Brian Chen is very cheap. If I can have a PDF and email it to my client and satisfy the delivery, I don't print anything out. I don't spend any money. It's free, right? So don't forget to do that. So that's that. It is 12:01 right now. Is there any questions? We have 3 more questions. Let me see. Fong to me. Hold on. Annie Yang. How to text on uploaded documents in zipForm? What do you mean how to text? I'm sorry, Annie, I don't quite understand your question. How to text on uploaded documents in zipForm? I don't understand that question. And Fong, hi Brian, maybe your speaker is off again? Oh, yes. Okay, my speaker is on again. My speaker go through this battery thing because I have an external speaker. Maybe I should not use that. I just pulled it. Okay, can somebody speak to me? Fong, can you speak to me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
Okay.
I just pulled my external speaker out because it
I
goes
do have
battery.
two hand raised right here. Sissy Zhao, I'm gonna ask to unmute you. Do you have a question?
Yes, CC Zhao, do you have a question? Can you unmute yourself? Kelvin Liu, you have your hands up. Can you unmute yourself?
Oops.
Kelvin Liu.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, I just create a template on the pick form. So that means when I create a template for this prepare pick form, so every time I show the property to the client, I using the template and send it to the client. So it will accumulate all the pick form in this folder, or it will create a template for each client.
No, you should not create a template for PEAD form because PEAD form is unique for each property that you show. Okay, because the PEAD is used for property that you're going to show to buyer. So it's a unique form with information on it. You never use the same information twice. So it's not necessary to create a template for PEAD. Okay.
Oh, that was the question that I asked you earlier. I said, can I create a PAD?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. Remember what I showed everybody? It's a template with all of the coronavirus related forms in there. So I don't have to hunt for them. That's what I was doing. And I was doing that because remember, in my company, I do trainings. So if I want to do coronavirus training, I don't want to miss a form. So I did that for my own. I wasn't understanding you correctly. But
Okay.
if you're saying that you only want to use PEAD for the properties, you need to use PEAD within your transaction, because within your transaction, that's when you have the buyer. But actually, when you're showing property, that's before your buyer's writing up an offer. So PEAD is a form that you need to use and then just simply save as in your email because you probably have the buyer signed it and email to your to the listing agent. So PEAD is not a good form to have in a template.
I see. So that means I have to create a whole package. Is that what you're saying? I have to create a whole package? Or no, I'm not missing it. Understand correctly?
Each time you want to use a PEAD, you just go to zipForm and call out without opening up a transaction. Let me show you. Let me show you. You go back to list, right? You are in a transaction, okay? You're in your transaction area, but you don't have to create a transaction to use a form. You may be here, go into here and go to PEAD, PEAD-V, okay? PEAD visitor. So you can actually type in, for today, if I want to show property at 123 Main Street, any town, California, okay? And then I have my buyers, okay? Buyer's name, okay? Buyer 1, second buyer, buyer, oops, 2, right? You can do that. And me as the broker, okay? Okay, and then my name. Then I have people sign. And you can do that without opening up a transaction. You can actually do an e-sign straight from here. And you're not even in any transaction.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Now I got it. Thank you.
You don't have to open out transaction.
Okay, thank you.
See, I was in this area, but I did not opening up any transaction. I go straight to forms, right? Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Participants. Cici Zhao, please unmute yourself and ask your question. If you don't ask questions, I'll lower your hand now. Any other people have questions? Ask, is this webinar being recorded? Yes, this webinar will be recorded. Yes. And Fong, do you normally send it out or do you only wait until people requesting it to send out the link?
Albert edits it and then he emails it out to those who are registered, and then it is posted on our website as well. So it's about 24 hours when everything is done.
Oh, so you mean all the begging, all the, oh my God, it's all recorded? All the joke I told? I'm so glad I did not tell any dirty joke. Oh. Okay. But I'm sure if I told dirty jokes, inappropriate jokes, Albert will edit that part out, right? Okay, so all the interruptions was the system glitch. The system was down for a little bit. All that is going to be in the recording, I guess. But
no, it'll be edited out. It'll be cut off.
It will be edited out?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, can we just provide customer paperwork? Hold on, there was a question. Max Mar, can we just provide customer paperwork in e-version? Well, you do e-signatures, right? So when you do e-signature to your client, after they e-sign, they will receive a completed signed copy in their email. So yes, that you can provide e-version. Yes, you can email document to your client. You don't have to print it out and present it to your client in a printed version. Okay, and any young, you have a question?
Yes.
Please ask.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, hi, Brian. I just have one question. Because sometimes I doing the PEAD form, I have used a listing agent provided the PEAD form that with the seller's signature and the listing agent's signature. So I have to upload upload this P80 form, then I just I don't know how to put
Set
a
up.
buyer's print name.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you something that's not included in zipForm training. It's called computer skill. Okay.
Oh, really?
Basic computer skill is this. You're supposed to know, are you guys seeing my desktop or only seeing my browser? Let me stop share and let me share my desktop. I hope I can share my desktop. Desktop, okay. I can share my desktop. So let me share my desktop. You guys seeing a whole bunch of mess. My desktop is very busy. Okay. Let's say I want to use a PDF because once the listing agent provide me a signed copy, it is in PDF, correct? So Annie, I think your question is, how do I add information onto my PDF? You see, this is my PDF, right?
Yes.
You see the T for text? I can type.
Yes. Oh, I try to do this way, but cannot save it. So maybe my
You know
computer's
why?
problem.
Because you're using the free software. As a real estate agent, you should use some kind of PDF editor. Either use the Adobe PDF Pro or, but Adobe PDF Pro is more expensive. I purchased a software called this software. Let me go to my software applications. You guys seeing this?
Yes.
Yes.
I bought a software called PDF Expert.
Yeah.
You see that? PDF
Yes.
Expert?
Yes.
It's only $69. And yet
Forever?
forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, forever.
Oh.
So I do this. This is my computer and I do this all the time. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know you guys didn't do this. This is basic computer skill. So I didn't even teach this at my own company. I'm sorry. I thought everybody knew this. So you see the signature? I already insert my signature. I can even put, and by the way, for those of you who work for me, this is how I sign your CDR all the time. I put the signature in and I put the date, okay? I can even change the color. I can even change the color of the thing, and I can even circle something. I'm sure you guys see me making corrections on some of your forms, and I go square. I go like this, and I put my initial. You seen all this? I can do all kinds of things on a PDF. Okay, then I can type the seller's name on there or landlord's name, you know, landlord, Mr. Landlord. And I don't want to do it in black. I do it in blue. Okay, dark blue. And Mrs. Landlord. Okay, landlord, not landlords. Okay, so this is how you modify a PDF document. And as an agent, because you're dealing with PDF documents all the time, you need to have this software. You need to have a PDF software that allows you to add things, type things, modify things, and all that. Okay? Did that answer your question?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Okay. So for those of you, I'm sorry, I never thought about this because nobody ever asked me this question. I thought everybody knew how to use PDF how to manipulate PDF because we work with PDF all the time. Okay, so for those of you who did not, I even have a software on my phone that when I'm outside, I can sign. It's an application, it's an app on the cell phone. It's called PDF Fill and Sign. And that was a free one. PDF free fill and sign is a free app on cell phone. So when I'm out having hamburgers with people, and if my agent want me to sign a CDR because my agent is anxious to get paid, they can't get paid without CDR being signed. Okay, and I can sign documents for my agents. So I can sign documents anywhere I'm at. 2 years ago when I was in Taiwan, I was still conducting business with my cell phone, signing documents. So agent didn't even know I was in Taiwan. Okay, yeah, they do. They know, but they still send things for me to sign. So as an agent, you have to prepare yourself to be ready and able to do things on the fly anywhere. Okay, so at minimally, you need to have a PDF fill and sign on your cell phone. You need to have a PDF software, not just a reader, but even a reader you can also sign. Did you know with the Adobe Acrobat Reader, you can sign documents by adding signature, but you have to sign your signature and scan it in and save it as a JPEG and then add into your signature. Anything else? Anybody else have questions? Please raise your hand. Other questions? I guess I can conclude today's class at 12:18. Last chance to ask questions. I will do my famous Brian Chen countdown. If nobody raises hand or nobody typing questions, oh, wait a minute. Pauline Lam, welcome to join education class tomorrow at 11. Everything you want to know for vesting descriptions by Nancy Chen. Oh, okay, good. So there's different vestings you can do. As real estate agents, you should expand your knowledge. Thank you, Pauline. Pauline is doing a great job as the education chair, right, Pauline? So, no more questions. Let me do final countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No more questions. Thank you very much for sharing the last 3 hours with me. It's my pleasure to share what I know about zipForm with you. And you guys should practice and practice and practice. Even practice using a software to sign and manipulate, a completed PDF document. Because as real estate agents today, we're working with PDF documents all the time. Okay? Thank you. Take care.